Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Podpaka. Today we have a familiar face and a familiar guest on if you've listened to past episodes of Podpaka. Today we have the author of Accused, The Witch Trial of Margaret Faust. Here is our guest for today.
Thank you, Joe, for having me. I really appreciate it. My name is Greg Biba. I'm happy to be here, and I'm from Opaka.
Well, welcome back. This is the third time you've been on, and this is the third new book that we have gone to discuss. I'm so excited, and congratulations, by the way. This is your third new book in almost a year span. That is really impressive.
Really appreciate it, Joe. It's another ancestry book, actually.
So this is your second ancestry book, correct?
Great. Yep, that's right. The other one was
And
called 900 Miles to Plentywood.
yeah, 900 Miles of Plentywood was the first ancestry book that we talked about last time. And then
Right.
before that, we also discussed the Death Wish at Machu Picchu.
Yep. hmm
But this time it's Accused, the Witch Trial of Margaret Faust, which happened in the later half of the 16th century. How did you find this family history?
Well, Joe, my brother Scott was very instrumental in writing the book. He basically did a lot of the research when he went over to Germany on a business trip years ago, and he talked to my mom, and she said, "Where are you going? Udingen, Germany." And she said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have a relative, their distant relative in 1697 was accused of being a witch." No way. So he pleaded with his boss to let me have a couple more days off so he could do some research. He was on a tour, got a personal tour from a tour guide, and went to Witch's Tower and Witch's Castle, and the rest is history.
And just to let everyone know, this book is good for mostly all ages. Would you say middle school
Yeah,
and up, you would
yeah,
say?
for sure, yeah, absolutely.
And it is a pretty short book as well. It's not going to be a difficult long read. This is something that you can knock out in a day, I would say. And
Yeah.
that's great to learn all this information in such a short time. How long did it take you to create this book? Because this is a very great story.
Well, my brother basically did a lot of the research initially. It was a couple of years in the works, and then he and I teamed up about a year roughly.
What made you want to do the book with your brother?
When your old relative is accused of being a witch, and ends up killing herself because of it, because of the torture, you gotta find out what's going on. That's why we did it.
Well, here just to read some more information about the book. So the later half of the 16th century, the people of Boon Judge, Germany led a very unpleasant existence. The return of the plague in 1596 resulted in madness and great loss in their population and livestock. These conditions were disastrous for their agricultural societies, such as theirs. Consequently, their city gates were closed and guarded with extra enforcement so that it would be kept away. In this tie-in community, women learned to heal with plants or what they had for cures using medicine. Witch hunts then found a renewed focus. So on May 4th, the village bailiff, those accused of witchery before the mayor, among those accused was Margaret Faust, declared her innocence. Driven into a corner by questions, she uttered a similar statement as that of Elin Anna. If accused of sorcery, she too wanted the names of others who practiced witchcraft. It probably never occurred to her that her demand was taken as a confession, which set into motion the final events of the book.
Mhm.
Uh, so, can you talk about why was Margaret accused of being a witch?
Well, she was accused because she had some, I think she had a deformity in her eye and some physical ailments. And I think that was basically it. You're guilty before being proved innocent back then.
Compared to other witches at the time in Germany, is she talked about a lot?
Not that I know of. I was asked if there's a gravesite for her, and there is not. I know she's buried there still, and she's buried underneath the gallows by the jail.
I want to make sure that people also know that this is something that you can get off of Amazon.
Right.
And then also, if you're in the Wapaka area, make sure to shop local and you
Mhm.
can find Greg's books locally in some local shops.
Yeah.
which include Office Outfitters, Northern Home, amongst many. Yep, bookseller.
Vintage Antiques and King.
So there's
Public
a
Library.
lot of places you can get it, but if you're outside of the Wapaka area, make sure to get it off Amazon, including that's where
Right.
you can find all of Greg's books
Yeah.
is off of Amazon. Was there anything that you wanted to make sure to talk about with your new book that you wanted to mention to your readers?
I think you mentioned her, it's not real long. It's very readable. You can do it in a couple of days. And I think if you read it, you're gonna enjoy it. And find out what it was like to be accused of being a witch way back then.
This book is great. It really is, Greg. Like this is just a great, awesome read. I hope everyone gets the chance to pick this up if you're in the Wapaka area, of course. It's in lots of local shops, but of course get it off of Amazon as well. This is Ancestry book number 2. So just to give some reference of some of the differences between the witch trials in Germany and then Salem witch trials. For the Germany witch trials, there were 16,474 people that were put on trial for witchcraft. Well, and also in Germany, there's approximately 7,000 that were sentenced and killed. So for the Salem witch trials, there's only 25 innocent women, men, and children. So the Germany witch trials were much, much larger in scale than what happened in Salem.
Imagine because it was so much earlier.
Yeah, the Salem witch trials were in 1692, and then the Germany witch trials were in the there were some of them were in from 1625, 1631, but some are also in the 16th century.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In Europe, not just Germany, there was 40 to 60,000 people that were put to death before witchcraft, according to um, historical consensus. So this is your second book in the family ancestry series. Do you have a plan for the third book in the family ancestry series?
I'm thinking about it, Joe. Actually might take a trip down to Missouri. Back in the Civil War, my mom's got some more skeletons in her closet. Like great uncle. I think, like in the Plentywood book, she had a great uncle who was appointed to be the first town cop in 1906 in Plentywood. But now in the Civil War, I think that'd be like great uncle. She had two great uncles, and then they one went north, one went south, and fought against each other in the Civil War. That might be my next one.
What are you doing these days now? What are you doing to take a break from writing?
Well, I play in some bands. I play in the Wapaka City Band, which is done now for the year. Wild Rose Band, Kimberly Band, and also River City's Jazz Big Band, playing the sax in those groups.
Thank you again, Greg, for being on and talking about your new book. Everyone make sure to go read it. It's a great, great book. It really is. Thank you, Greg, for being on.
My pleasure, Joe. Thank you so much for having me.